Hi everyone, welcome to Marianne's Mystic Mansions. I'm Marianne. Welcome to your first half of October Oracle, Tarot, and Love Connection readings for all the signs of the Zodiac. And I might say that I'm recording these at the very last few days of September. We are officially in Mercury retrograde season again. The retrograde is in the sign of Libra. We're in the season, the solar return season of birthday seasons for Libra. Happy birthday, all Libras that might be cross-watching for this beautiful featured sign that I'll be reading for today, which means the predominance of the reading is catered to this sign as I read for one every single day from Aries to Pisces. And we are now on the wonderful watery intense and yet very, very transformational sign of Scorpio. Also, the day I'm recording this is the moon has gone into Cancer. So this is a very harmonious time for you, Scorpio. Your birthday season, your, solar return occurs right after Libra's, and that'll be on the 22nd of October. And we've had Venus go into your sign from Libra. So as the month goes on towards the end of the month and through November, the more personal planets, Mercury, not sure about Mars. I'm not going to say just yet. I have to recheck that. I'm pretty sure though, which is in Libra right now. It just tends to follow suit. It goes into the next, sign, which is what astrology is about. And then we all get to feel that powerfulness, like for example, of Mars, which is in Libra, in what their specific traits, tend to provide and to share with the whole world. For example, Libra is the balance, the air, the mind, the scales, the justice, the compromise, the relationships, the love. And Mars is in the sign of Libra. It's not normally comfortable in the sign of Libra, but it's there nonetheless, and it does motivate all of us a little more in the areas of relationships, working things through, I think it's more of a time when it's about the other person, and what can I do to make both of us feel right? Not just about ourselves, but the other person involved or persons involved, whether all forms of relationships are what my readings are about. Certainly romantic, but definitely, just long-term, I would say contracts, sometimes karmic, friendships, family, animals, plants, you name it, right? And this is a very, very strong energy happening through the end of until 22nd, when it then goes into your sun season, Scorpio. So you're right next to Libra, and I feel for myself, there's a lot of understanding between Libra and Scorpio. And yes, there's a lot of differences, but many times I see them as working together in cooperative ways. And for now, I do have to say and reiterate that I feel for you, Scorpio. I believe this has been going on even through Virgo season, which was also very complimentary for you with the earth and the water elements together. That things are good. There's always going to be circumstances, maybe in a personal life situation. These are general readings, but overall, it's a wonderful time. There's a time of rejuvenation yet again, which is something you're incredibly good at. Ridding things, removing things that don't work, finding the balance in your life, especially, as I said, in relationships. Moving to the next phase comes to mind. Strengthening the ties you do have. Healing the repair, irreparable ones, or so you thought. And removing some for on a permanent basis, because that's the best thing for all involved. All of those possibilities and energies come through at this time. And with Venus in your sign, though, that's a lot of love. It's a lot of emotional stability, and it's a lot of passion. Oh my gosh. And for passion. I know everyone knows the Scorpio is the sex sign of the zodiac. And it's true, but it's not as frivolous and as, I don't know, it sounds a bit... it sounds very general, but the reality is you're a very sensual sign. You are in your emotions. You wear them on your sleeve. You feel everything, the raw emotions that are real and true, and you don't hide them. You couldn't if you wanted to. And the passion runs deep with you as the Pluto, ruling planet of you also runs deep and delves into things on a much deeper level than the average sign. And even the other two water signs, though they are very, very in tune with their energies and the people, and they're empathic a lot of times as you are, and very, very aware of, you know, people's thoughts and their feelings and such, way more than the other elements, which I absolutely love about you. But I am going to pick your highlighted sign for the first half of the month of October. And I always want to reiterate to everybody, if you're new especially, first of all, welcome if you're new. And it's wonderful to have you joining my channel. I appreciate all of the people watching and viewing, and I love doing what I do. I've been doing this for about 30 plus years, more prominently in the last 10. And I plan on doing this for the rest of my life and eventually just doing this. So, but for now, I'm a massage therapist. And ironically, we are in the throes of Mercury retrograde in Libra. And I am a Libra. And yesterday was the first day when I recorded, you know, some of the uploads. And usually the first day and the last day and a couple of days surrounding it are a little more noticeable about the retrograde traits. And sure enough, small little story here. I have a phone for my business and one for my personal life because, you know, I think it's very important to separate the two and find that balance there. And yesterday I went to turn my business phone on, and it's not even old. I had one that came with the business, and that one had been old, so I got a new one about a year and a half ago. But I do very little. It's just answering the phones and setting up appointments. And yeah, the phone wouldn't turn on. I thought, what? And I'm not very savvy about technology. Anybody watching my channel clearly knows that. But I did go down to the Verizon up the street. They know me well. And I had first plugged it in because I thought, oh, maybe it's just the battery. And yeah, it started to show that it needed that. But it still wasn't turning on the way it normally does. So I took it down there and they said, oh yeah, it's the on-off button. Whew. I said, oh my goodness. I'm so grateful that's what it was. But it's just silly. And he said, but I think it's the case that prevented that. He tried to make me feel good. That was beautiful. That's going on. There's this, you know, this humanity coming through. There's like, I want to help you, and, you know, we're going to work with each other. We're going to be diplomatic. And I wasn't mad at him. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't working. I didn't go in with that energy. And we had to laugh. And then I came home and realized I'd left my other phone there. I mean, you know, I went back again. He goes, it's the planets, you know, because we talked about Mercury retrograde. Anyway, that's the sort of thing going on with Mercury retrograde. Even still, with the new moon happening in Libra, which is all about everything I already spoke about, the traits of Libra, the most important aspects and facets of a Libra, which is justice and truth and fairness and boundaries and, you know, balance. Oh my gosh, balance and love. You know, Venus ruled Libra. That's just so much about love in all forms, and it's so important, and it does everything it could. It's the most powerful energy this planet could just transform overnight if everybody had that same energy level, you know. And we're all working at it, and everybody does their best, and it's getting better, but it's a long process. And that new moon can be in setting intentions about pretty much anything, certainly about what you want to balance, and it will definitely help it take effect, because that is the most powerful time to do so. So your beautiful highlighted connection, Scorpio, thank you for letting me digress yet again. For the first half of the month, which Spirit wants you to know about, this could be a person or circumstance or feeling or energy you're feeling very strongly. If you're not, well, it went on you. We're going to try it again. Obviously, you're definitely in your element and in your energy right now. And, ooh, it's a cross between, I'm going to go with Capricorn. You know, I've gotten this before with you, and it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. Capricorn is an excellent earth energy element. It is a grounded element. It's very important in times of retrograde for all signs, even earth signs, to allow themselves to ground themselves when they're feeling this unease about the delays that are caused by retrograde, the changes, the unexpected, you know, surprises and rescheduling and, you know, revisiting of circumstances, issues, people coming back. You know, that happens often during a retrograde. When those times come and you're feeling just a little out of sorts and off balance, You want to just ground yourself, be still. You know how to do this. I know you do, Scorpio, and that's imperative. But when you're around somebody that has those traits, or you're feeling that because you have that in your natal chart, as well as being a Scorpio, you have Earth, you're going to reach for that part of you because it's going to make everything a lot easier. You know, accepting what is, not wanting to have control, not wanting to rush, allowing and revisiting and renewing and reinventing and reviewing and all that during this time. It's a wonderful thing. So I love that that comes up for you. And by the way, there's been a lot of potent energy because Capricorn is, Pluto is in the sign, your ruling planet is in the sign of Capricorn. So there's a lot of dogma kind of energy. There's, you know, it has to do with old programming and ways of doing things, which is completely being broken down with the energy and continuous energy that will come in with the air signs this year, predominantly Aquarius, as we have Jupiter in Aquarius, the expansion of new and breaking and free and, you know, no confinement. At the same time with Saturn in Aquarius, which is just the opposite, but it's the taskmaster. It is the ruling planet of Capricorn. It is what keeps us on top of things. It's there for, in Capricorn, another, what, I guess all of next year, 2022, and then it goes, changes into Aquarius in 2023. We're removing ourselves from the old traditional ways of doing things. I think it's very evident in real lifetime with this planet and what's happening. But nevertheless, the grounding is a very, very important calming and just a very important thing to do. Okay, so that's what's coming through. That might be simply what the Capricorn is, or you certainly know a Capricorn. It would make perfect sense. It's a very good combination for you. Very hardworking, successful, oriented, resourceful, as are you, Scorpio. You want to gravitate towards people like that. Very earnest and loyal. And long-term friendships can become from this. This is the person you can rely on and trust and know when they say what they say, they'll do what they do, and they mean it, and they will come through with it, I'm trying to say. Always a little more tricky to talk during a retrograde for myself. So yeah, this is perfect. And so I'm going to read the 4 major categories for you, pertaining to this highlighted connection, but all of your relationships as well, not just this. This is a side note, but it's an important one for reasons I don't have answers for. Hopefully you will definitely connect and understand. I am going to be using this wonderful deck that I recently got, and it's new. It's the first time I've ever used it. And I was having a little difficulty deciphering between the swords and the wands, but it's coming along a lot easier. It's a beautiful deck as far as the illustrations. It is the Hush Tarot. It's really kind of cool because it's the mysterious part of life, which I love, and have always been drawn to. I have 3 heavy hitter planets in Scorpio, so you can relate to the looking in the detective in me that wants to unravel the taboo issues, the things that aren't commonly spoken about, though, having said that, spirituality has definitely opened up leaps and bounds since my interest in my spiritual awakening, if you will. So that's really wonderful. But this is a deck that has a lot of emphasis on the connection between our spiritual life and earth and nature and animal kingdom. You know, the spirits of animals are so important. They represent, and they true are souls, you know, and they come to us. They can help us and guide us, and they do on a regular basis. I know my cat certainly does. And he did come to me when I adopted him last year. There were 25 kittens to choose from, and he came directly up to me on my knee and he's never been, you know, shy ever since, except for with other people. Very bold, a Taurus, you know, another grounded earth sign, very fixed, very known. You're a fixed sign. You are very set in your ways a lot of times, but you're also very, very determined to achieve, and that you do. So your overall energy is the first category that I read for all of the signs. And let me put on my glasses. I brought in my stronger, I guess, cheaters they're called, just to be able to really see what I'm seeing. And you have the Page of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to make double sure it is a sword because it looks very similar to the wand, but it looks to me as though it absolutely is. And it would make sense because we're in Libra season. The swords are the air element Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And it just so happens we have, well, at the end, by the end of October, we'll have 6 planets in air signs. I'm telling you, it's going to be huge. It's about information, mind, thinking, expansion, growth. We have the North Node in Gemini. We have Libra season, and we have Saturn and Aquarius, you know, as I mentioned Saturn and Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius, and there'll be a couple more, but I'm not 100% sure at this moment. I just know it's big. There's things to be spoken about, and it's about truth and justice and fairness and revealing that, which is what you love. You know, you will get to the nitty-gritty and down to the bottom of any circumstance to reveal just that. You don't want anything but the truth in your life. You're not interested in the riffraff and the contradictory aspects. You know what you know, and you definitely are strong about that in your convictions. But the Page of Swords is a new, youthful kind of energy that could be coming into your life. If it's in regards to a relationship, or perhaps this Capricorn could be younger, could be a beginning of a relationship, so it's still kind of, you know, fresh and you know, that fun, flirty stage. It could be that you're discussing, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to get to another level, perhaps in a long-term existing relationship you've been in, or friendship, whatever it is. But it could mean adding a child in some form, or an animal, which is like a child for a lot of us. Let's be real. Mine is certainly my child. So I just, as my children are grown up and, you know, out of the house, I sense a very strong pull towards youthful energy. Perhaps it's just reminding yourself to stay in tune with your child, inner child, which is something a lot of us, I think, have let go of. I know I have, and I found myself way too serious. There was a point in time when I needed to be way more serious. Everything's funny to me, to be honest. I mean, I find humor in pretty much everything. And not everybody feels that way, however. So I kind of changed that and tried to balance it. But then there was a time, you know, when I thought, oh, I'm not laughing nearly enough. So I purposely put things on to watch that make me laugh. And that's kind of what this card is representing to you as well. But pages are messengers, okay? So you might be finding out something new. And in regards to the air, of course, it is communication. It's messages. But it's also, when it's the swords, it could have to do with institutions, higher learning levels, you know, maybe, you know, colleges, and enrolling your child into a college for the first time and having that empty nest situation. That just came to mind as well. That's a good portion of the world because it's all about the different cycles, you know, and I had mine, and that was a few years back, and my sister has hers now. And, you know, it's just a part of our evolution and our ever-changing life, right, and circumstances. So I'm feeling really strongly about that. And it feels great. It feels straightforward. You know, there's no mincing of words generally. It's very true, kind of detached as far as emotion, something that, you know, you are more emotional about, but you're definitely willing to converse, and you're very interested in the intellect of people as well. That makes you different than the other 2 water signs. So being aware and being listening to circumstances, and if it's about medical, it could be as far as the institutions. And it could also be certainly about finances, because, you know, the Venus ruled aspect for Libra in the season that we're in, and now in your sign, Venus, it's definitely about money and wealth and beauty and riches and luxury and magic and how it comes about. Very beautiful. So that is the opening kind of energy for you for the first half of the month. And remember, now we are in retrograde, but it will end on the 18th. And there will be at least 4 more outer planets that'll be stationing direct in October. So a lot of the, I don't know, it's felt like a lot of retrograde energy for me, like you 1 foot forward sometimes, a couple back, but still managing and still, you know, working on the balance, which is innate for me to do. And it is working out, and never, you know, letting go or giving up or feeling defeated. However, it's going to be building up in the energies, and the momentum is definitely coming forward right around your birthday, boy, and then onward. So, and then we're into the eclipses, which are just so powerful and really bring things in quickly or take them out for all the right reasons. No fear attached to it whatsoever. Just bring it and let me be open to it and be the best receiver. I think are the best, you know, tips I can give you on these type of, energies that come through. So the second category is that of blessings or obstacles. And so this is a storyline, as I always say, under these categories that cover pretty much all the questions wanted. Well, I have not gotten this yet, but I love this unbelievable illustrations for this deck. And I started to say a lot earlier, as the month progresses around Halloween and your birthday time, it is the thinning of the veil. So the hush and the mysteries are even more potent. And it's just such a wonderful, I love this time of year. But you have the devil, the major arcana of the devil. The devil represents Capricorn. So once again, you might be very enthralled or very in tune or very much connected to the energy of the devil, which is definitely, I should say, Capricorn. And remember, the devil, people are like, oh, the devil. Like everything, these are just simply guidelines for us and reminding us of the temptations that happen in life. We all have them. To what degree we fall prey to them is, of course, individual. And I had many more in my youth, and now it's like, done there, been that, not interested. I'm much more aware. I know how far to go. Of course, I'm not perfect at it, but it seems to come easier through time. I care greatly about my body and my well-being. So, of course, I don't add things to it at this point in my life that are going to diminish that. And it's always a very important thing to recognize, so that if, in fact, your wealth is your health, you want to be moderate. You want to be careful. You want to remind yourself, if I have that extra whatever, is it really going to make that much difference? And am I going to feel it the next day? Because I don't want to not feel well. I want to enjoy the moment, but I have to think beyond that. Because, the energy of Capricorn and Earth is about, regimented and kind of routine and long term. It's not just fly by night. Oh, let's try this. Let's experiment that. No, they're way more interested in the long term and the effects of that. And so just reminding you, if there's something that you're thinking of maybe spending a little more money than you might normally do, you're going to think twice. You're going to be checking it all out during the retrograde. You don't want to go forward and buying anything new if possible, or signing contracts. Though a lot of times you have to. You may just have to redo it a little bit. Just double check everything. And there's a mask. It's so interesting because, it is the devil. We wear a mask in a lot of ways in our lives. Make sure you're really seeing who you think you're seeing. We do have Pisces, the planet of Neptune, the underworld god of illusion and fantasy and deception and all those aspects, but also imagination and creativity in the sign of Pisces, which is such a creative sign and so vulnerable and so impressionable, just wanting to see the world as one big rosy colored glass, right? But at the same time, putting into perspective that that's not always the case. So if something looks extra good, just double check it, because beautiful, amazing, miraculous things happen in life, and they are real, but we just have to make sure we're doing our due diligence, okay? So that's coming through really strongly. And you're good to go. And you know what? I don't think many people can fool you too much, Scorpio. I'm serious. And maybe as a younger person in growing in your gifts, but on the whole, I think you sense things rather quickly and can tell the deception in others. Maybe having had it in yourself, right? That's how we learn. Mirroring ourselves in others. So the third category is that of finances, and of course it is about money, and that is wealth for a lot of people. It's absolutely necessary. We must use it and have it to be able to survive. And it's a constant concern these days, I would say. But the balance of that with Libra season will come through. The truth, the equity versus inequity, justice will prevail is what I'm feeling very strongly. And standing up about how we feel and our rights, as it were, and that's definitely happening as well. So more to come on that, right? Financially, though, for you and all of your relationships that may be a part of it, you have the Five of Swords. So yes, this is another air element. This is another indication of conversations and concerns and erratic, perhaps, debates or, you know, inconsistencies, for heaven's sakes. I mean, this is such a part of what's happened. A lot of people saying one thing, information of all different types, so confusing, so polar, you know, polar opposites in ways that you absolutely have to utilize your gifts and ground yourself once again and know what's real for you. That intuition is real. It never lets us down. That's the one thing we truly, truly, truly can count on. We just have to be aware and to listen into that very, very soft, quiet voice sometimes. The slightest little urge or that little prompting is what's leading us. And, you know, you've had the conversations before. They weren't necessarily pretty, but sometimes you have to have them to get to the resolution. And that's what I see in this 5. And it has to do with your money. You're not messing around with your money. You're not going to get, you know, incorrect information. That's just not going to happen. You're very strong about this. I would not be surprised if you have air in your chart, because it appears as though you have the capability of being able to communicate yourself very well. A lot of water signs are so intuitive. They just imagine that people feel and understand what they're feeling and thinking, and that's not the case. So be strong and be assertive, and yet recognize that during retrograde time, there's going to be confusion on top of the normal confusion that exists. So just picking and choosing your battles, making sure that when it comes to your finances, you're not overlooking or thinking that something was better, an investment was actually better than it is, you know, because it's got all the little bells and whistles. All that shines is not necessarily gold. Okay, so I may have added to that saying or taken away, I'm not sure, but you know what I'm getting at, right? So very important, yeah. Otherwise, you know, you've got what it takes. You have everything it takes. We all do, to manifest as much and as little money as we want. It's so much a part of what we believe and what we feel about money, and the kind of, you know, patterns and belief systems we've carried through this point that we can diminish in a heartbeat. Certainly with the new moon and the intentions to do so. So let us go to the last category, which is surprises and wishes. And, you know, surprises can come from nowhere. We do have, like I said, a predominance of Aquarius energy. And that is the ruling planet of Aquarius is, of course, Uranus, the unexpected, unpredictable. You know, surprises, freedom seeking, you know, out of the box, wonderful with medicine and new information and technology, which is absolutely going to continue to come. And I think we're all going to benefit, which is all what Aquarius wants. Helping the world, you know, seeing everybody with a fair shake, okay? So yes, I know it's still a long way to go, but we are definitely working there. And the more you believe it and you bring out that light to the world, the more it will happen. Your surprises and wishes category is the Page of Cups. So this is the heart. This is you. This is the emotions. This is love. This is youthfulness. This is a new relationship, perhaps. One you've been thinking about. And I know a lot of times in the last year plus, people just haven't been able to reach out or really accomplish the visitations of things and people they want to see, but that's changing. And there's definitely a message about somebody that has some really, really important and deep feelings for you. And it could be another Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But it's real, and it's just the beginning. Or if it is a relationship you've had, it feels like the beginning again. This is so incredibly beautiful. If you're not in a relationship, don't be surprised at the new moon and retrograde with people coming back. Somebody comes back, Scorpio. Somebody you may not have thought about, or somebody you're bringing back, quite frankly, you know, because we do that. And you might be doing that. So a youthful person perhaps, or somebody with a youthful personality, you know, and that has that ability to laugh and have fun and joke and have playfulness, you know. We all need that. Sometimes you get a little intense. You want to bring that out of you, right? And remember how fun life can truly be. So you've got the bookends of the pages, the sword and the cup, the mind and the heart, okay, working together, which is a beautiful, beautiful, essential, harmonious kind of energy to have as a balanced, holistic, you know, life. So I love this. And you have a fair amount of swords, there's no doubt about it. So there's a lot of things going on in your mind. You're getting information, you're taking it in stride, you're really thinking about things, and you're going to come up with the right decisions, and they will be fruitful, and they will be prosperous, and you will have love in some capacity, even if it's just love of self, which is so important. You know, I can't ever say enough about that. But with that, and that self-confidence, and that passion of yours, it's going to just be incredibly transformational for so many of us. So keep it going, beautiful Scorpios. And I'm going to read your 2 oracles before closing. The first is the beautiful Starseed Oracle, which is one of my favorites. I brought it out for the first half of the month of October. Of course, I changed my cards for the second half. And if you did not watch the latter part of September, please do so. It's all just a continuum, and it's really kind of wonderful how they segue into each other. And sometimes it's a progression, and sometimes it's the same, but it kind of gives you that confirmation that Spirit's working with you and wanting to share these important messages with you. I'm the conduit, which I'm so grateful to be. And when something spiritually or intuitive comes through, I always mention that as well. But this is the Starseed Oracle deck, as I said. So for your beautiful message for the first half of October, is weight of the world. Boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. Now see, this is here a person floating on their back in a vast, you know, sea or lake, or what, submerged in the water, which is you know, just this incredible wholeness of raw emotion and reactivity and sensitivity, and feeling like you're taking on the world. I know that feeling. I mean, thankfully it's balanced itself out, because sometimes it was just like, I don't know if I can feel this much anymore. It's just so much. And that's what I'm seeing from this. And perhaps that's how you were feeling. And now with the retrograde, you're able to reconsider and rethink with this air energy, of course, but then also, you know, tuning in, like I said, to your own beautiful intuition and psychic abilities, to understand fully what the message really is for you. So let me read to you, because I don't remember reading this. It wouldn't matter even if I had. I certainly don't memorize them, but I'm going to read to you what it says, because it's super important. I can feel that so very strongly. Weight of the world. Should be right in the back, actually. What? Bear with me, and thank you for your patience. There's weight. There's water. No, that should be... Okay. You don't need to carry it all. You're no good to anyone if you're running on empty and bogged down by the weight of the world. This message is a reminder to look after your own well-being before anyone else's. Now, people say, oh no, not again. But yes, self-love, you know, oxygen mask for you so that you can actually be of service to other people. It at first seems selfish to me when I heard that. I'm like, what? But what about the children? How can you help the children? How can you help anybody if you yourself aren't in a position to do so? It makes perfect sense now, right? It's absolutely the right way to understand it, I think. Are they gonna? Yeah, of course. Okay, believe it or not, I did not remember that at all, but it just makes sense. This is a reminder to look after your own well-being before anyone else's. To stop carrying the world's problems on your shoulders, to put on your own oxygen mask first. See, I didn't remember that. In these changing times, it's hard not to feel overwhelmed by the state of the planet. However, you can't take on its problems from a place of energetic depletion. It's that fear-based, you know, and it's definitely so hard on our bodies and so hard on our ability to heal, and, you know, yeah, just our healing capacity gets deeply affected. This card is thanking you for caring so much. You want to build a better world and ease the road for others, and that's incredible. But the way you've been doing it is so likely unsustainable. Forgive me for tripping over my words. This isn't to say you should switch off to the world's problems and become unconscious. Rather, it's a call to establish clear boundaries. We talked about that. This is a very essential month for that. You're not constantly taking out energetically. To establish clear boundaries so you're not constantly taking out energy. The planet needs you to be healthy, both physically and emotionally. So instead of digesting the news or reaching for your phone as soon as you wake up, controversy, intrigue, gossip, just plain out and out, lies, I suppose. Wake up in nourishing practice of meditation instead. Soul inquiry, deep breathing, or exercises in nature. Once you're in a state of grace and your inner well is full, you can face the day, the state of the world, and care for others. And at the day's end, take an energetic shower by emptying out anything that's not yours to carry. You can pick it up again the next morning if you so choose, but give yourself the time and space to rejuvenate and rest. And that's exactly what this is all about this month. Rest, rejuvenation, review, revisiting, reminding yourself, retreat, all the re's, and yet power, which is different than a lot of other retrogrades. For example, today as I'm recording this, we have Venus and Neptune conjunct. Now, talk about expansion of creativity and imagination and just truly believing with every bit of your emotional self, Scorpio, that you can be and achieve and manifest whatever you truly, truly want. Don't be surprised when it does occur. Just believe it, and then with that new moon, write it down and put that intention out there. This is a good one. This is a big one. It's definitely intense. It does pick up on your energy, but it's also very informative and very important. Very wonderful, guidance as far as I'm concerned for you. We'll finish with the Super Attractor Manifestation Oracle, which is about creating the life you want. Bringing that energy out into the world and seeing what comes back, like a spaghetti on the wall. Not really, but sort of. That was an interesting analogy, but you know what I mean. What you put out, you will receive back. That is an honest. That is a definite law of attraction. I love this one. But for you, my dearest, beautiful Scorpios, caring, intense, loyal, loving, passionate Scorpios. It's kind of like the vortex, it's that beautiful dark and then the beauty of, the veil and what we were talking about. This is the harvest time. And this is what I see with this card whenever I pick it. The more I tune my energy with appreciation, the more the universe will deliver. And that's exactly what it's about. Look at you picking the fruit on high, right? Believing in there's that star up there, never ever let go. And you're a fixed sign. You're very determined. You usually get what you need and want. And it's not by luck. It's by hard work. It's by belief. And it's because you've connected with appreciation. So that's your reading. And I hope that you definitely resonate now. Not everybody does. You can watch your moon, rising/ascendant, or Venus for even more clarity on the month's energies. And I just hope you have a beautiful first half of the month. I'll be here for the second half. I hope you will be as well. I can't say my speaking will be better at that point, but I'm going to do my best. I promise. It's part of the energy, right? So yes, take great care of yourselves. Until next time, bye for now.